What's up, dude?
How you doing, man?
Doing good, bro. Thanks for making the drive.
No problem, man. It's good to see you, bro.
Yeah, likewise.
Yes, sir.
When's the last time we've seen each other?
Was it? I don't know if we've seen each other after we graduated.
I don't know.
I feel like I've seen you like around somewhere, but the last time I really remember is 2010, bro.
2010, yeah. So 14 years almost.
Golly, don't say it like that.
I know, right? 14 years. It's so weird to think.
That's crazy.
So what have you been up to ever since then?
Man, I've had a nice long journey. Stuck with music. I've been basically I've traveled a bunch of different places. I've lived in Atlanta, I've lived in Las Vegas, lived Sanford a little bit. I've just been around, just working on my music, doing other jobs here and there, and now I'm in the cannabis industry.
Hell yeah, man. How's that treating you?
I love it. I love it, man. It's something I understand. I have a really good time with it. It's something that I believe helps people. So it's a passion of mine.
Nice. Yeah. So walk me through. So I actually, now that you say that now, I did know you lived in Vegas for a while because I was following you. I seen you in Vegas. Where were you even in Atlanta? Music related mainly?
Yeah, basically, chasing a music dream.
Yeah.
I went 2 different times.
Mm-hmm.
First time after college, I was just like, oh man, I didn't finish college. I kind of just dropped out.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, let me go chase what I want right now. I went out there. It didn't pan out the way I thought it was going to pan out. So I ended up moving back here, getting a job, and just kind of honing my skills and everything.
Right.
Figuring out like what I need to do to be successful. And then after that, I went out another time, and that time also didn't go the way I thought it was, but I feel like it was a little bit more successful. I met a few good people. I met people that were able to help me steer in the right direction with music. So after that, I was out in Florida, Brevard County for a little bit, and then Akeem actually was out in Vegas, and he gave me a call. He's like, hey, man, come check it out here. So I moved out there. We was out there for 3 years, bro.
3 years?
3 years, yeah.
That's a long time.
No, dude, it was crazy.
Damn. What's it like living in Vegas?
Vegas is a whole different animal, man. It's
Is it truly Sin City, as they say?
Yeah. So the thing
I've never been.
So you never?
No.
You gotta go. The thing about it is, it's if you aren't strong-willed, you'll fall into your temptations. But if you are strong-willed, there's a lot of opportunity out there. There's a lot of people that just come out there just because it's Vegas. That's a very good place to network at.
Okay. Now, you were in Atlanta mainly for music. Yeah. Would you say that was the same reason you went to Vegas?
So Vegas, I was out there for music, and just to network. But at the end of the day, I ended up having to just get into the job force because you got to survive.
Right.
It's difficult getting a lot of money out of music, so you have to have like a supplemental hustle. And so,
no, and I can completely relate to that, obviously, because I've done acting things, sure. And it's the same principle, right? Highly competitive, and it can't sustain your living until you reach a certain point. And the problem is you don't know when or if you're going to reach that point.
Facts.
So you went to Atlanta twice.
Yes.
You're settling in now to kind of the job that you've taken, which is good because you enjoy the industry. It's a good fit. Would you ever consider going back to Atlanta if the opportunity was right?
My dreams have changed. So what I would say is I'm not wanting to be like the most popular, influential artist or anything like that.
Right.
I want to make my art the way that I want to make it, and I want to kind of make it a small business for myself. So I'm not looking to be like, oh, where all the glitz and glamour is. Like, I would definitely go out there to visit, go out there to network, go work and stuff like that. But as far as living, I like Florida. I'm a Florida boy, and that's what I've learned throughout this whole thing. So.
It's funny you say that because I had a similar journey. 2019, I was considering moving to California, to go to Southern California.
Okay.
I'm super fucking glad I didn't. Because I like Florida too. Yeah. And, you know, it took some time to really maybe appreciate it more. But I'm with you. Yeah. Like, I don't really want to leave Florida. Yeah. And I think that's kind of why I've started this podcast to begin with, is to highlight the things that people right here are doing.
You know what Florida has to offer, man? Florida has all of the eyes on it, but all of the culture hasn't been fully identified yet.
I agree with that.
There's a lot of talent out in Florida, and there's a lot of beautiful places out in Florida too that I don't feel like people appreciate enough.
Right.
Like, you got the Miamis and the Orlandos, and
right,
and stuff, but I think that Florida really has a lot to offer, and at some point in time within the next 10 to 15 years, I believe it could be a hot spot for a lot of different industries.
I agree with you. And that's kind of the mission, right? Let's shining a light. That's why I'm bringing people like you on. Yeah. Now, your music, one thing, so I reached out to you, Marion, and it's because you unapologetically always do what you're going to do, which I like. And you just haven't quit, which I also like.
Sure.
You've come out with nearly 14 mixtapes here. Like that, yeah. I've wrote them all down. Yeah. But walk me through your first one. How was that? How was that making your first one? Because you made beats before. You made your own, lyrically mixtape, right?
So, essentially, I started making beats in 2006. I always had the want to rap and things like that, but I was kind of nervous. I didn't know what my voice was going to be like. I didn't know what I was even going to talk about. I hadn't been through too many experiences yet, just we're all just growing up. And so I just kept making beats, and I kept just reaching out to as many artists as I can. I know that a couple of the beats that I was making initially were just super trash, but
yeah,
I had people that were I feel like they could see the potential in what I could do. My first project came about in 2014. The reason I even wanted to do it was my uncle had passed away. And so, with him passing, it was an unexpected thing. I didn't want to live life without any regrets after that, So I just was, I was like, let me try it. If I embarrass myself, if I fall flat on my face, at least I can say I tried it. So I had a friend that I was working out of his studio, and I would just put together songs, and I think it's 9 or 10 songs on the original one. Those were my first 9 or 10 songs.
Ever,
man. So I can't even listen to that CD anymore.
I feel you. It's like me trying to listen back to these. I can't do it. I hate the way I sound. I like what you said there. That story about your uncle. I don't like the fact, but the inspiration of you basically going for it, despite whatever may happen, because you didn't want to have any regrets. Because it's basically something similar to me. My dad died. Thank you. Almost a couple of years ago, and I had a similar thought process. All these things that I had in my head that I want to do, don't want to have regret later. So that's awesome. I really like that. So once you put out the first one, how quick did you move on to the next one?
So when I put out the first one, I promoted it to everybody I know, and I was getting good feedback. I was getting some honest feedback where people were letting me know, hey, you may need to tighten this and that up.
Right.
And I was just getting feedback in, people appreciating that I tried. And I loved that feeling. There's something about the adrenaline that you get when you drop a project that it fuels me. So,
yeah,
it's something that I now chase. So
It's putting yourself out there.
Yeah, putting yourself
a part of you out there
you know,
for judgment from the world.
for the world.
Yeah.
Know? Anybody can say anything about what you're saying.
Yeah. Anyone and anything.
Are we allowed to cuss?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they could be like, "Oh, this is absolute bullshit." You know? So like, and you have to just sit there and
take it.
That. Yeah.
Yeah. And see if there's any truth to that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And sometimes there's not, but you know, it teaches you to have a level of confidence within yourself as well. You know, there's humility and then there's confidence that comes with that. So I really appreciate it. You know.
Yeah.
It's something that I love doing. I don't think I answered the question, but
oh no, it's all right.
Okay.
It was better than any answer I was looking for just then. Now, you put out this music, you get feedback, you then decide to keep going though.
Yeah.
So you make another one and you make another one. Did any of this lead to live shows for you?
It did.
Yeah.
So after the first one, we started doing live shows. So there was these 3 parties. The I forgot what it was called. It was like the Harbor City something. It was like some Harbor City local parties or something like that.
Is this one like Dylan and everyone threw on? Was that at the Abbey?
The second one was at the Abbey.
The second one was at the Abbey. That's right.
The first one was so crazy. So we were supposed to be at one house location. We get up to Orlando and they're like, "Oh no, we can't use this house tonight." So we had to scramble to find a second house. Somehow we found a second house, and we performed in the living room of this house.
Fuck yeah.
It was really cool, man. Yeah.
Hell yeah. I feel bad because during all of that happening, it's like I saw it happening, but I was so balls deep into acting at the time. And I don't know. I just I got lost in the sauce, you know?
Yeah.
But it was inspiring to see all that happen because I feel like there was a sector of all of us from that school who just went in these lanes, you know, and they were just doing stuff. And it's as simple as just doing stuff. Yeah. You know what I mean? So the second one was at the Abbey, a little bit better of a venue because that was in downtown Orlando. Yeah. I
think you went to that one.
I think I went to that one. Yeah.
So that one was tight.
Yeah, that one was tight.
That was a whole moment in time, man. Like that. I don't know. I just have fond memories looking back at that. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That was when I started growing out my hair.
It's long now.
Yeah. A little bit.
Yeah. Meanwhile, mine's gone.
Yeah, I see. It looks nice, man.
I appreciate it.
For sure. Did you do that on purpose, or is it?
Well, I mean, because I don't know if you saw, I had it grown out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was longest I've ever had it. And then, ironically, when you're losing your hair, the longer it gets, the more it's noticeable.
That's facts.
So once I realized it, I was like, oh, shit. So I cut it. I just shaved it, let it grow out a little bit more, and then I just couldn't unsee it.
Yeah.
So I just started shaving it.
It's a nice compliment, man. I like it.
I appreciate it.
But yeah, with the Abbey, man, it was a good time. I remember jumping in the crowd. That was cool.
Oh, you jumped in the crowd? Like, that's dope.
So,
that's dope.
For sure.
So you were making beats before you made music. What was the thing that made you start doing that in the first place?
Dude, Jared Scott.
Really?
Yeah, bro. Yeah, so I went over to his house one day.
Because they were in a band.
Yeah,
at the time.
Yeah, man. And I went over to his house one day. We were on the basketball team and stuff. So he was like, yeah, I'm going to make a beat. And I'm like, what do you mean? And he shows me FL Studio. And I'm like, oh, shit, I need to get this. I remember Dylan Santos was real heavy into, like, making beats.
Yep, I remember that.
Stuff like that. And I just, I would listen to all that stuff all day. And I'm like, man, I wish I could do that, you know? And so once I learned the little cheat code with FL Studio, I just did it every day I could, you know? I remember I would make beats and I would bring them to school in the morning, and a lot of us would like sit in the cafeteria and stuff, and I'd be showing different people this and that, and they were trash. But I had people that would, you know, they would listen every day, and then they saw the progression, you know, they saw how I was getting better, and then they give me like good feedback and stuff too. So I just kept doing it, man.
Hell yeah. What's the inspiration behind beatniks? I don't think I've ever heard you explain why you call your, I guess, label. Yeah.
It's kind of collective.
Collective, yeah.
So,
the brand in general.
Yeah. So you're familiar with the beatniks of the 60s, right?
Not really,
So
to be honest.
basically they were, I wouldn't say they were the outcasts of society, but they're like the real artistic people in the 60s that didn't follow like the trends and everything. I kind of saw us as that, you know. We the group of people that we had and everything was just everybody was just so musically inclined and had their own like personality and sound behind them and everything like that. Even at that young of an age, I just felt like it was right, man. I felt like that was us, you know. I remember I heard the word beatnik in Miss Khalil's class.
Oh, shit.
I heard it one day and I was like, writing it down. Writing that.
Saving that one right there.
For sure, yeah.
Hell yeah, bro. Because who all was in that circle when you first started then?
When we first started it, it was me, Trevor Glass, you know.
Yep, Spencer.
Yep. Keem.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Dylan Santos, Michael Yerkes, and Austin Young.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now obviously everyone's kind of branched off and doing their own lane.
Stuff,
yeah.
For sure.
And you're right. Everyone did end up having a very unique kind of pathway because, you got Yerk in the EDM lane, which, he's good at making those beats too.
Fire, man. Everybody, I'm such big fans of everybody. Man.
Yeah.
Like, they, those guys are real talented, real talented. And it was just like awesome just to see everybody just kind of turn into a butterfly. Just kind of figure out their lane and what they want to do with life and do it,
Yeah, and what's cool is they continue to do it.
Yeah.
To this day, even.
To this day.
Yeah.
To this day.
And it just goes to show you how much they just love doing it.
And then even if it's not within the music specifically, everybody's reaching their dreams and goals in like such a crazy way right now.
Right.
A lot of those guys are just doing really big things. And I'm proud of all of them, man. Like,
yeah.
Still have a good relationship with everybody today. So.
That's good. You're working on something now.
Yes, sir.
That you allowed me to have the ability to preview before you came here. And I really liked it. The first song, by the way, is really good. And also I wrote down Bad For Me I really liked. What's the inspiration behind this? Because you had told me prior to me listening to it that it was going to be kind of experimental.
Yeah.
And it's almost as if it's a story you're going through. You're talking to a therapist. Yeah. So what's fueling this? And when's this get released? You don't have to say anything you don't want.
So right now I don't have a concrete date. I'm thinking around my birthday in January 7th. So that's a date I'm shooting for right now. But I'm still mixing it, so the version you heard, it's not fully complete.
So it could change.
Yeah, it could change, but it would be just like small minor changes that you would hear. You essentially got the meat and potatoes of what it is. So,
Gotcha.
This tape is called Freedom or Loneliness. I read a quote by Charles Bukowski, I think his name is. Actually, I got the quote here.
Yeah, pull it up.
Yeah. So the quote is, and when nobody wakes you up in the morning, and when nobody waits for you at night, and when you can do whatever you want, what do you call it, freedom or loneliness? I went through a pretty lengthy relationship, in my opinion, and I just didn't like the way that it ended and how it came out. Like, I liked how it came out on the other side, but I feel like it hampered my want for love. I don't know if I want to do relationships or anything like that too much anymore. So, and then whenever I try, I feel like those traumas kind of get in the way of it.
Yeah.
So I wanted to have a CD that was a little bit, I don't want to say darker, but a little bit grittier and
a little bit more depth to it.
A bit more depth to it, yeah, for sure. And really kind of explain the process of processing being single. It's sometimes it's like amazing, but then there's those nights where you're like, oh man, I wish I had somebody, this and that. And I wanted to be as vulnerable as possible, but also like in moments be overconfident. You know, I wanted to show like the full
spectrum.
Yeah, for
yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Well, I definitely got the feel of it being more vulnerable than your past work.
For sure.
That's for sure. How long did it take you to write everything?
It's crazy, man, because I just had finished a project called Escapism. And I started doing these songs. I want to say the earliest one was probably like between April or May. And I've done 18 songs since that time. So,
Gotcha. What's your songwriting process like?
man, it's cool. So I smoke a lot of weed.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Step number one?
Yep, smoke weed. So I get in the studio. Normally I'll have a beat that I'm already vibing with, or I'll go through like the beat options that I have, and I will just kind of listen until I can hear myself on the song. You know, I'll just mumble nonsense, and then
Kind of get a rhythm to it.
Yeah. But I already come into everything with slight ideas on the topics that I want to talk about. So I kind of look at making music from a producer's standpoint.
That's where you started.
Yeah, exactly. So it makes it different to me. I don't feel like I need to have the lyrics already ready when I make the beat, because lyrics are important, but there's more ways that you can create depth within the song past the lyrics.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So like in the way that you say certain things, in different effects that you use, just like you can like create moments that I feel if you write out, if you overplan, you won't get that feeling across like as if you're just in the vibe and in the moment.
Gotcha. When you started this, who were your biggest inspirations at the time? Like when you first started getting into beat making?
So with beat making
and into rapping as well. So just both.
So I always pull a little from a lot of people. My main inspirations when I started, I liked Kanye West a lot as a producer. I also liked the Runners.
Okay.
And then I liked the classics like Dr. Dre, Timbaland, you know, who else? And then I liked a lot of like trap stuff like Shawty Red, Drummer Boy, different things like that. So I would pull little pieces from everybody and create my own sound. And that evolved into me making music. So I have a lot of influences when it comes to like my rap style, my singing, my storytelling, how I want to like market myself and everything. A few people, The Weeknd, I really became a fan of his when he came out around like 2010, 2011. He had dropped like a couple mixtapes.
I like The Weeknd.
Yeah, for sure. So I don't know if you remember those first 3 mixtapes he did. If you ever get a chance, listen to House of Balloons, Thursday, and Echoes of Silence.
Okay.
Those 3 albums were, I had never heard R&B in such a gritty way, and it just expanded my mind a lot. And then Currency was
I remember Currency.
Yeah, remember Currency.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
when the whole Currency Wiz Khalifa thing was going on, I was a big fan of them. I'm still a big fan of them.
Yeah, I haven't seen Currency around much these days.
Listen, Currency's a mogul right now.
Is he really?
Yeah, well.
I mean, I don't follow them, I should say.
He's the he's, in my opinion, the poster child of independence.
Really?
Yeah. So he has his own merch label, his own store, and everything like that. And he's just able to live his life the way he wants to. He's not too famous or anything like that, so he doesn't have to deal with like being like LeBron James
And being out in public and everything, he can somewhat live a normal life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what I want.
Yeah.
That's I want to be self-sufficient, not have to depend on anybody to make music. I don't ever want to get shelved.
Yeah. Again. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, don't want that.
Yeah.
So that's what you envision for the future. Where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
5 years from now, I see myself. I see myself getting closer to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see finding a way of making the music and the cannabis industry blend, but a lot of that depends on the laws and everything like that. So
Yeah.
just kind of being patient and planning the best I can.
How is that in Florida right now, navigating that territory? Because
it's
a little there. I mean, from what I understand, I know it's medically approved, obviously. That's why there's dispensaries everywhere, but you don't see it becoming recreational anytime soon, do you?
I hope.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm hopeful that it does become recreational. I think that the way the game is being played right now is there's a lot of, I don't know if nepotism is the word, but there's a lot of the people in power are using their influence to be on the forefront of the cannabis industry out here. I think that once it does become recreational, if the doors are opened up to everybody becoming, able to join in, I think it will be highly competitive, and I think that I would have positioned myself in a good way to, be in that chase.
Because you're in there before the floodgates open, essentially.
Exactly, and basing my art around it and stuff, So,
right.
Getting to know a lot of people in the community that are getting ready for it as well,
Okay. So, talking about that, you're got this new opportunity working in this industry. Do you see yourself just taking the skills? I mean, I guess this is a yes because you want to blend it eventually, but do you ever see yourself leaving and maybe starting something in that field, like possibly your own strand, whatever it may be, like a more entrepreneurial type of avenue,
It's
and
possible.
leaving this store?
It's possible, but I'm not thinking about leaving right now.
Yeah. Well, no, not yet. Definitely not.
Sure.
But
So, it just depends on how everything shakes out.
Yeah.
In the next couple of years, just seeing, because the opportunity that I'm in, I can't really say the name or anything like that.
Yeah.
But the opportunity I'm in is a really good opportunity to learn a lot of aspects in the industry. So I'm just learning right now. I'm just like a sponge, just trying to soak up all the information that I can.
Hell yeah, man. So after you release this mixtape, what's next?
So with this project, I want to do a slew of shows. I want to do like a good amount of shows with it. I want to expand on the vision of it. So I want to get videos done. I want to get the social media buzz for it up. I haven't planned on making another one, but they kind of just come up by whenever I feel inspired. So
Yeah. Whenever the muse
Just whenever-
speaks.
Exactly. So,
Yeah.
and she speaks a lot. So
I bet. Well, yeah, she must to you because you have something cooking almost all the time, which I love. How do you feel about live performing? What is that like for you? Do you enjoy it? Was that nerve-wracking the first time you had to do it?
hell yeah.
Short answer. Yeah.
So my thing with live performing is the lead up to a live performance. I'm not gonna say I'm a nervous wreck because I may look calm on the outside, but inside I'm a nervous wreck. So I'm just trying to overthink it. Where am I gonna stand? I should do this. How am I gonna breathe at what times? I'm just processing all these different things. But once you get on the stage and you have the mic and the music starts playing, all that goes out the window, and it's just it's like a fight or flight thing.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna run off stage.
Well, I have this acronym I really like, the word fear. And what I used to tell myself before I would go on stage for something was fear stood for feeling excited and ready.
Okay.
And there must be a similarity because like you had just said, you just let it all go essentially once it's time. But any play I've done, that's exactly how our mindset was too. Once the curtain goes, you're just out there, and whatever happens, happens. And you just have to trust the work you've done leading up to that point is going to be expressed in a way that you're confident about at that point.
So with you doing plays, man, like you have to remember not only dialogue, but you have to invoke an emotion that people have to believe.
I know.
That's nerve-wracking.
It's hard. I will say this. The only thing that's the only solace, because I was just had my friend Adam on that you mentioned you were listening to, because we talk about this often, like stand-up comedy versus acting. And like we always say, like with a play, you're able to hide behind someone else's words. Yeah, you may not get the emotion.
Yeah.
But you're still, in a sense, it's not exactly you up there.
Yeah.
And that's why with comedy, there's no hiding.
It's you.
It's you, and you better be funny, bitch.
For sure.
But you're right, though. Yeah. It's very hard. There's a lot of moving parts, and it requires a lot of rehearsal.
Yeah.
That I will say, I feel like we would probably rehearse, like, more than a musical artist, because you just have to, you know, not that it's minimizing it, but you memorize your songs, which you obviously know intimately, because they're your words.
Yeah. I've forgotten words, though.
Oh, have you? Yeah. I'm sure it could happen. That's actually funny, because I've always wondered that, especially with rappers, because lyrically there's a lot more words, depending. Yeah. Is that common for people to forget words, or what's the deal there?
I've seen it quite a few.
Yeah.
But what I do is now I make.
Actually, now that I think about it, maybe talking to this a little bit more, just because that bitch kicked on. Anyway.
All right. So what I do is I make more R&B leaning songs now, so I don't have to remember as many words.
Yeah.
But whenever it's like showtime, I do listen to the music over and over again. I practice it on my own, because when I was younger and when I was learning how to perform and everything, there was times where I was nervous, you know, and I would forget my words, and I would just be up there kind of looking stupid. So I didn't want to feel like I was unprepared anymore.
Yeah.
And so
it's a bad feeling.
Yeah, you know, and now, if I forget a word, it's cool because I know to keep going and I'll jump in. You know? I won't forget a whole song or anything like that, though.
And that, I feel like that takes practice to get to that point, because it's similar with the acting thing. Like you.
Was that 30
Yeah,
minutes?
it went off. It's fine. Yeah, 33. I was right. Because even with acting, I would, you know, it's very possible to forget a word or two. But it's interesting, though, because when you're in that world, you're using a writer's words, and the way a play is done is you have to pay a licensing fee per performance to perform these plays. So it could be anywhere from like $100 to $175 per show.
Oh, man, for real?
Yeah. And so that's where, like, theaters, you know, that's why a lot of times they're nonprofit, and they rely on donations to pay all these miscellaneous things, including their staff. And a lot of times, you know, you don't have to worry about it so much at certain levels, like community theater, but the more high up you get with like professional theaters, you can get fined if it's not word for word. Oh. If you change the words, if you like you're paraphrasing or something like that. So sometimes it can be very important to make sure you're word for word.
Facts.
Yeah, because
I'd be pissed if I got charged $100 because I messed up on a word.
I know, it's wild, right?
Yeah.
But again, it's because these writers, they want it done how they intended it and how they wrote it, because that's their art. You're technically taking. Because the writers aren't there once the theater has the play, unless they come and watch it. You know, which we used to do that a lot. But we would rehearse the living shit out of our plays, and we would reach out to the writers and try and invite them and stuff. One play I've done twice now, you'll get a kick out of this. It's a play called Ugly Lies the Bone. Okay. By Lindsay Ferrantino is her name. She is, you know, a Ivy League grad, I'm pretty sure. She went to, I forget what school, NYU or something, but she became a playwright, and she wrote this play, but I want to say she's from Florida. Okay. But this play, this one in particular, the setting of the play is Titusville.
Word, okay.
Yeah, and they make references to NASA and like all this stuff because it's about a veteran war hero who returns home. It's a woman, but she's heavily disfigured.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and she is trying to just find herself again in her hometown of Titusville. I remember we actually got in contact with her, but we were hoping she'd come out and watch the play. I've done that play twice now.
Dang.
Yeah.
Sounds very emotional.
It is. Yeah, it's pretty emotional. I did it at the garden here in Winter Garden. Okay. But anyway, I when I saw the setting, I was like, this is crazy. It's like some full circle shit right here. And I just couldn't believe it that there was a play about our little area of Florida.
And that's cool. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you prefer doing like the emotional drama acting, or are you more of like what's your style? Do you like comedy? Like what's your, if you could just act and you could do what you wanted to do, what would you do?
It's a tough question. Probably I tend to do things that are drama when I was doing it a lot. And it was more of not so much I had roles that required emotion and everything that I don't access emotion very well. Yeah. It's pretty hard for me. So it takes a lot of work for me to break through to allow it to manifest doing dialogue like that. The closest, I enjoyed it when I was in theater. So drama when I did theater because I had time to kind of to work on it.
The character.
Yeah, because the rehearsal process is weeks. Yeah. So you have time to take the words and. So I'll explain it this way. You know how when you listen to a song and it can evoke emotion for you? Yeah. And it's just someone else's words. You basically, with acting, you have to achieve the same effect with the words on the page. So there's techniques to make it to where when those words are said, it will elicit a response, but you have to like drill it into yourself, almost as if it's a song you've heard 100 times.
Oh man. Okay,
so you have to. So that's essentially what you have to do to get to that point. Because really, the words don't mean anything to you when you first pick up a play.
Yeah, because words are just words.
Words are just words, and you have to inject meaning into it.
Okay.
So I enjoy it in the theater, to answer your question. But like, if we were filming something, I mean, it's really tough because you only get so many takes, and that's where, believe it or not, the actors who can conjure up that emotion for film and everything, they're the most skilled. Yeah. Because they can do it, like cut and then do it again when they need to do it again. And that's hard. At least with a play, you can build momentum, like you had mentioned earlier, get into the character, and you're kind of riding this wave the whole 2 hours.
And it must be crazy, too, because with Broadway, you get an immediate response.
You do.
Like somebody, okay, hey, you did something that touched people, they're gonna, give you an ovation and stuff. With film, you just got a camera, so you don't know what you did.
A crew of 40 people behind it, just like holding equipment. And it's weird. You saw that Lotto commercial I did?
I think,
yeah. So I enjoy doing that when it comes to filming because that was funny. Yeah. And so when it comes to filming, that's like, I like that because I know I'm confident in my abilities. But if I was like, all right, you have to cry in this commercial, I would be very nervous to do that. So
you get eye drops and stuff?
So I have never had to do that for any professional gig or anything like that, or even any student film, because I just never had a scene that called for it. But yes, they do have these, like, it's almost like Vicks vapor for your eyes.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a puff, and they'll do that to make your eyes water if they need to just achieve the effect.
Waterworks,
yeah, and this is for like characters that are in the scene, maybe, or that are in like one scene, or something. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure if you're the lead character,
you need to be able to do it.
You need to be able to do it. Or, I mean, but they probably have if you're having a bad day. So it does exist. Yeah. But when it comes to a play, no, I mean, no one's going to come out and, in the middle.
Everybody stop.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man, that's funny.
But you also have the advantage of distance.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
I mean, but the thing is, the bottom line is, if you fake it, people usually can tell.
Okay.
And one thing, too, is with drama, is if the emotion is real, you may not cry, though, but people will be able to tell if it's real. So sometimes tears just aren't a thing. Okay. But it just all depends.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So to answer your question officially, drama and theater, probably funnier stuff for film is what I would prefer.
Cool.
Yeah. Because the pressure's a little off.
Yeah.
It's a cop-out answer.
Okay.
But whatever.
Hey, man. You like what you like, right?
Yeah, you like what you like. So you've got what you got going on.
Mm-hmm.
What is your schedule like now that you work in this industry?
Yeah.
And then you try and fitting in all of your music tasks in between? What does that look like?
Well, being in management, I'm at work a lot. Whenever
I can imagine that.
Yeah, whenever I'm not in work, because you're not going to be there forever, I find time to be in the studio, you know.
Do you have a home studio right now?
No, I work at another studio.
Okay.
Yeah, so, you know, I have to pay in the money to use the studio, and then I just have to find the time to use it. It's a thing it's what I love doing. So it doesn't affect me. It doesn't make me like, I'm not like, oh, I gotta go to the studio. I'm like,
no, you look forward to it.
Yeah. So just whenever I have free time, that's where I'm at. If I'm not doing one of those two things, I'm probably resting or, you know, playing 2K or thinking or something. I don't know. You know?
Yeah, no, I feel you.
So
why do you think people don't chase their dreams and hobbies?
scared.
Yeah?
Scared as fuck. Yeah, man. Like that. There's nothing to it, man. You just take one step every day, you know? Some people are just scared, man, or they just want an excuse. They want people to sympathize with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I feel.
That's what you feel?
Yeah.
When you, like the story you had said earlier, you had that great feeling of pushing through the fear of releasing that project. Was there any internal dialogue that you had to have with yourself that made you make the decision, or was it just as simple as like, this event in my life happened, now I'm not scared, or did you have to kind of work through it still?
So it'll be in waves, you know. There'll be moments of confidence where I'm like, hey, this is something I decided to do, so I'm locked in it, I'm gonna do it. And then there'll be times where I'm like, oh man, like I don't know if this even sounds good. I just feel like sometimes I would train myself to have blind, stupid confidence.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Just screw it. Just get it done. You know?
Yeah.
What's the worst that can happen? So, now I don't think everybody can do that. And I think there's a level of craziness to that. But, you know.
So be it.
We did it. You know? Like,
yeah.
I feel like you had to have that same level of just, I'm going to do it to do acting. You know, that's nerve-wracking being in front of a crowd of people that are just sitting there judging you. They paid money to judge you, you know?
Yeah.
And to be able to get up there and remember what you have prepared and then add extra to it, like, you have to have the same kind of confidence that I had, man.
Yeah. I mean, it's weird. It's been so much time now. I don't even know, like, how I managed to work through that, because I used to tremble giving a speech in school. Yeah. Like,
same.
You know what I mean? Like, I look back, I'm like, what the fuck? How did I even go from there? Granted, it was good acting classes that really helped get me out of my shell, but yeah, it's strange to look back on. I mean, I still get nervous, like you had said. It's just now you handle that differently.
Yeah. You
Working
have a
at
process for it.
Yeah, exactly. You have a process for it. Working at Gatorland really helped because I had to act a fool there for one of the shows.
What'd you do?
At the Gatorland?
Yeah.
Oh, I did all their Gator shows for 6 years.
Just handling them and shit?
Yeah, man.
Oh, man, what?
Yeah, dude. I ended up becoming a Gator wrestler there for 6 years.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that was when I moved from Melbourne to Orlando, that's the job I took over here.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Gatorland's tight. Well, was tight.
It's still around.
It's still around?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's still around.
Dang, okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's still around. It's a great place. What do they call it? The best half-day attraction in Florida.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say was, I don't know exactly the switch that happened, but I think for me in particular, I don't know about you. I was going to ask you this too. I think there's an element of me that has a chip on my shoulder. Because I don't know if you know this about me, but because we didn't meet till middle school, roughly. That's when I finally had some stability with school.
Yeah.
But I went to a different elementary school almost every year of elementary school.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so I was constantly the new kid.
Yeah.
And it just seemed like I constantly had to like get into a new school to find a tribe or prove my, you know what I mean? Like whatever that subconsciously is. So it's like, it's exhausting looking back on it.
Yeah.
So I think for me, that was a big part of it. And yeah, and then going to those classes that really helped
Just
push
kinda
me
get
through
you-
it.
Yeah. So, and what you're saying, I did have a chip on my shoulder too.
Yeah, you did.
I do have a chip on my shoulder.
Yeah. I think it can be a healthy motivator to an extent.
Yeah, you know, everybody goes through different life experiences. You
Mm-hmm.
know, like I didn't grow up with a father, and that experience. I'm not going to get like too deep into
Yeah,
it
no,
or
don't
anything, but
say whatever you feel comfortable.
But that experience, knowing that there's somebody that can be in your life and they're choosing not to, is something that really kind of fueled me to just want to stand out, you know, in what I do and prove that, hey, like I can be somebody, you know.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know if that's healthy or not, but it's just kind of how I took it, you know. So
I don't know that it is or that it isn't, to be honest with you, but it's almost a force that is impossible to ignore.
yeah.
When those type of situations, like I can
Yeah.
only imagine
Yeah.
that feeling that you just described.
Yeah.
And I feel that I would act in a similar fashion.
Yeah, you know, like,
Yeah.
because, well, one thing that I'm proud of is, you know, I could have took a number of different paths. You
Yes.
know what I'm saying? So
For worse.
Yeah, for worse, you know.
For much
So-
worse.
So I, it's like the good wolf and the bad wolf. You know, whatever you feed is going to be the dominant wolf inside you. I felt like dedicating myself to a craft and making sure that I purposely didn't try to get into trouble, I think helped me in the long run, because I could have went full speed into the opposite direction. you
Yeah.
know? So, yeah, man, I think that, you know, everybody, it's not hard to find a chip to put on your shoulder.
Yeah.
And
If you look hard enough.
exactly, if you look hard enough.
Right.
And you see, it's what influenced a lot of the greats. You know, you see Michael Jordan, he's, that person smiled at me wrong, so I took it personal, and, you know,
Yeah.
he scored 60, 70 points on people.
Yeah.
So,
even I think they even had a video of Brady
Yeah.
saying
Yeah.
something similar
See?
too,
Yeah.
just that's been going viral.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I think that what you said is the best way to avoid those paths is to put your time and energy into a craft
Yeah.
of some type, whatever it may be,
Yep.
because anything else is just destructive.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everyone's, and to be honest with you, like, I was guilty of it. I mean, I quit drinking over a year and a half ago.
Nice, congrats.
And it's so easy to just fall into vices that'll just pull you away, get you into trouble,
Yeah,
doing things
yeah.
you shouldn't be doing.
For sure.
And when you could really put all that energy into a craft that you can present to the world and maybe contribute to society in some way.
And now none of us are perfect, you know, so we all may dibble and dabble in like different things here and there. But I think intentionally, you know, trying to better yourself, it helps. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know if what you're doing is going to work.
Yeah.
I don't know if what I'm doing is going to work.
Yep.
And what are the thoughts that we are afraid of? Like, oh, wow, look at them doing that. Who do they think they are? Like, is that the actual verbiage they use?
Yeah.
No. But, you know, it's...
So...
How would you describe it?
So what I think when it comes to that is there's some people that value safety and security more than they value their dreams.
Right.
I've heard too many, like, you know, there will be like videos where it'll be like old people talking about what their last regrets are, and it's not doing this and not doing that. I feel like I paid attention to that, and there's some people that they may not be as up on themselves. They may not have the self-confidence to be like, hey, I can chase my dreams. Or maybe they push it off, you know. Maybe they be like, hey, once I get in a stable position, I'll chase my dreams. And then you never get in that stable position.
And it never happens.
It never happens. So I've always been under the belief that the time is now. Might as well go do it, because what else is there to life, you know? You should be doing what you want to do, or you should be going for something you want to do while you're on Earth.
Right.
Because there's no time limit guaranteed. We don't have any specific number of days. We don't know. So might as well do something that you want to do, right? Yeah, you know, that brings value to your life, you know, and brings value to people around you, you know. So that's my thought on that.
There's a video that I just saw recently. It was a voiceover video of this woman, and she was saying how 3 generations from now, no one will remember you. Everyone and everything you knew will be gone. The car that you worked so hard for will be scrapped.
Be an artifact, basically.
Yeah. And you will just be in the oblivion of history. So whatever it is that you're putting off, you might as well do it.
Might as well make a big dot in the blip of history.
That's what I'm saying. I think about that often. I think another motivating thing, and I've pulled this from people I've listened to, but after, you know, you dealt with a loss, after I've dealt with mine, I've thought about death quite a bit.
Yeah.
I think about it a lot.
Yeah.
And I think that's another motivating factor too. Not that I'm, you know, constantly
bro,
like
it's
death and we're gonna die, but
no, everybody thinks about death. Bro.
Yeah,
it's a thing we're born into. We're born into this life not knowing that we're gonna die, and then we figure out we're gonna die.
Yeah, you gain consciousness.
That's crazy, and you're like, oh, one day you're gonna die. So, we all think about it. I think about it too. I'm just of the thought that it's gonna happen one day. You know, I might as well leave my mark while I'm able to. You know,
right?
So
leave an impact.
Yeah, leave an impact. You know, be good to people while I can. You know, and just make your mark, because you can. Believe it or not, making our mark can be as simple as saying hello to somebody versus like just being, you know.
Yeah.
And
I agree with you.
That could be the biggest thing in somebody's life, you know.
Right.
So it's
and it could cause a ripple effect that you don't know about.
You don't even know about. So I always, even in my times of anger, I try to understand, hey, let me calm down. Let me try to still be good in this scenario, because you don't know how it's going to affect somebody else. You don't know how it's going to affect you, you know?
Yeah.
So.
It's heavy to think about. Did you go to our reunion, high school reunion?
We didn't have one.
That's
COVID. Yep.
That's right. That's right. That's almost poetic.
You know, it's funny because we didn't get a grad bash either.
No.
Yeah.
We got ripped off.
Yeah, we got ripped off, man. We got gypped, but we had a really good class.
Yeah, we did.
Still got gypped, but we had a good class. But they were started in the talks to like see if like we'd possibly perform and stuff like that. But I don't know,
you perform?
Yeah.
No
I never heard of any like traction or anything like that from it though. So it would be cool, but it's kind of too late now. You know, I don't want to.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the ship has sailed, quite literally, with the Commodore.
Yeah.
It's gone.
It's out of here, man.
It's gone.
But I feel like our class still keeps up with each other for the most part. You know, I see people around every once in a while and stuff.
I ran into Dylan and Yerk in Winter Garden not that long ago.
They're out here all the time.
Yeah, golfing. Yeah.
For sure. Living life.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. It's funny how you had said things intersect too, because, you know, Adam, who I had on, the comedian, he goes to Pineapples all the time.
That's crazy.
Performs
out there
for their comedy showcase that they do.
That's awesome. Also, that Cam dude that y'all was talking about,
Oh, Cam Patterson?
Listen.
He's blowing up in Austin.
He's blowing up.
Yeah.
I found out about him before I watched that. And I just went and watched everything that he had.
He's
on YouTube.
hilarious.
So funny. So funny.
I'm so thankful that I got to see him at Milk District before he blew up.
Yeah.
Because Adam, he was telling me to come out because Adam had dived headfirst into the comedy scene in Orlando. And I went out and met with him and we watched, and Cam was one of the comedians that night. He brings an energy that's crazy.
I was gonna say, like, being able to control a crowd like that, I want to see that in person, man.
Oh, it was good.
Yeah,
and it was funny because they were saying that then. Like, Adam was like, Cam's gonna do good. Like, they were saying that before he even made the move, before any of this even happened. And I don't know him personally. You know, I'm not talking as if I know him, but I did, like I said, had the opportunity to see him. And seeing it now is mind blowing.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Do you watch Kill Tony?
So I have been put onto it.
Yeah,
you know?
it's great.
Yeah, it is. It is. But there's some, like, I'm bad with, like, cringy stuff. So when somebody's, like, not funny, it just makes me feel so bad.
Yeah, I know. It's brutal.
Yeah.
And that kind of goes back to what I was saying about comedy versus acting, like stand-up being, like, the ultimate. Because if you bomb...
You're bombing.
You're bombing
right
hard,
there. Yeah,
bro.
in front of everybody.
Yes.
And I've always loved stand-up comedy. As an admirer, I'm like, I'm kind of funny. And then I'm like, no, I couldn't. I don't know if I could do that.
A lot of people, it's one of those things where a lot of people think they can do it.
Yeah.
And then until you do it, and you
Yeah.
realize, like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I flirted with the idea for a little bit, but
have you ever
scared.
Have you ever done a set or anything?
Never.
Like that? No. Yeah.
Never.
Yeah. Dude, imagine having to just keep people's attention like that, and and they're expecting you to be funny. What if I'm sad that day? You know, like, what if I don't want to talk?
I know that's where that's where that performer hat has to go on, and you have to block it, I guess. Yeah. I will say there's a couple of elements that I feel like you have to be really good at. Storytelling.
Yeah, facts.
And the ability to write.
Yeah.
Because there's structure to it.
There is.
You know, and obviously energy plays a big part, but there's some deadpan people that do really well.
Yeah, but controlling attention, controlling the energy of a room too, like, especially
in a day where everyone's just on their phones, they don't give it's even harder. I feel like to be a good comedian in today's world. Yeah. And Cam, man, he'll just say something out of left fucking field.
Yeah, facts.
But it's hilarious.
Facts, man. I watched a lot of his YouTube stuff, man. That shit is funny.
Yeah, he's funny.
Yeah.
He's really funny. There's another comedian who just moved out to New York, who is an Orlando local, who's doing really well too. I forget the name; it's not coming to me right now. But the comedy scene in Orlando is legit. That's why I brought Adam on so he could talk about it.
Nice.
Because you can really get a good base
just in Orlando.
In Orlando, because they have enough open mic nights to where you can get stage time and practice, and we have venues like. I like I said, I'm not in that scene. I'm not an expert on it, just based on what he told me. Yeah. And people making the move from here to Austin, which is now that's a hub, with the Comedy Mothership.
Rogan stuff out there, right?
Yeah, the Comedy Mothership is Rogan's. That's his club.
That's crazy.
I know. And then of course you got New York and Chicago.
Yeah.
But it's just wild. And you know what's funny too? You went to Atlanta for music. You know what Atlanta is the hot spot now for is acting. Yeah. I mean, they call it Hollywood of the Southeast.
Yeah.
I considered moving there too, but I didn't do it. Yeah, didn't do it either. Yeah.
So Atlanta has its beautiful parts. It also has its ugly parts.
Did you live in the city?
No, I didn't live in the city. I lived on the. Both times I lived on the outskirts. The first time, I was 30 minutes away from the city. The second time I was towards the bottom near zone 6 and stuff like that. So both times I was in a decent spot. But it's just there's so much to Atlanta that people don't see by looking at the glitz and glamour and stuff like that. It's a real city. Same thing with Las Vegas. You see the Strip and stuff, but that's only one street, There's Fremont, that's another street.
Right.
There's so much more to all these places, and it's interesting in seeing the real life of these big cities,
Yeah, because I feel like Atlanta's one that's not talked about often.
Yeah. It's talked about in like the music and
And
stuff
well,
like
and
that.
but like an outsider.
Yeah.
Because you can kind of get an idea for L.A. and New York.
Exactly.
And in those cities,
Yeah.
Chicago. But but I feel like that's changing with Atlanta.
Yeah.
I feel like more videos are coming out of not so good things coming out of Atlanta.
Yeah. Well, cities in general, bro.
Cities in general. But yeah, some debauchery, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, definitely.
Atlanta's one of those places where, like, it's like the city, like, you know it's big, and then you have to drive through it randomly one day, and you're like, fuck, I forgot it's this big.
This is big.
It's this big.
There's a lot of moving parts to it, you know?
Yeah.
So, but it's still beautiful, man. I love going out to Atlanta. I still got good friends out in Atlanta, too. So
That's awesome. I have a story for you.
What's up?
It has to do with Atlanta.
Okay.
I remember me and my friend Jared, we were road tripping to Nashville.
Okay.
And we stopped in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And we stop in the city.
Yeah.
Because we were just going up to Tennessee for acting related reasons.
Sure,
but, you know, in Nashville, we really like going. So we stop and we go to this McDonald's. Mm-hmm. This is, I don't know, mind you, I don't know the areas of Atlanta. Yeah. And we go into this McDonald's. Line is huge.
Yeah.
And I will never forget, this was the first time, point blank, I've been asked if I wanted to buy cocaine. And someone was coming up to everyone in the McDonald's line. So basically, I'll never forget, we pull up to the McDonald's. We walked, because we're parked in like a parking garage. We walked to McDonald's, go in, we see the line, and there was a group just sitting out there, and they saw us go in, and then they got up and came in, and then just started asking everyone in the line if they wanted drugs. And this is not even like a story trying to insinuate anything. Nah. It's just like, I feel like wherever we pulled over, we got injected into a neighborhood that, you know, like, hey, has to do what they got to do here.
Buy drugs here.
Yes. And I was like,
do you want drugs or do you want a quarter pounder? Which one?
Literally. And I just remember being like, nah, I'm good. And then he went to the next, right behind me, and just kept asking everyone. It was crazy. It was crazy.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So don't stop.
No. I tell that story often. Anytime I'm like, I got a story in Atlanta. Yeah. It's the one time someone asked me if I wanted Coke, point blank.
There you go.
So,
That's funny.
But it was a good time, you know. We ended up...
Atlanta is definitely cool. There's a really cool nightlife, especially in downtown.
I believe it.
Yeah.
Is it comparable to Miami's?
It's slightly different, you know.
I was going to say probably a different vibe.
Different vibe, but beautiful. It's beautiful out there for sure.
Does Atlanta stay open till 6 in the morning like Miami does and shit like that? Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, just like a lot of places like in the city, and then you can always trust Waffle House.
Oh,
you can always.
You know what's funny about Waffle House?
There's a lot of funny about Waffle House, but yeah.
We got one right down the road.
Okay, how dirty is it?
It's pretty clean, actually.
I can't trust it.
But I'll say this. I remember me and my wife were like, man, I asked her because she's from Wisconsin, and I was like, did you guys have Waffle Houses up there? And she was like, no. And I'm like, oh. And I didn't even know, because we live down here, that it's a southern thing. Yeah. Georgia has the most. Yeah. And then Florida has the second most. Yeah, and I didn't realize that. I was like, no kidding. Yeah. My naive little brain, I didn't even realize that we were privileged and had Waffle House.
There's a few things that the South has that, you know, like a lot of other places don't have.
Yeah.
Zaxby's.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Oh, no kidding.
You already know Publix. Like,
oh, yeah, the GOAT.
But Publix is the truth. So like,
It is the way of the grocery store.
Everybody else should be jealous.
Yes. Although I do cheat on it and go to Aldi's a little bit.
Hey, man.
But
Publix is expensive. Publix is good for their pub subs.
Yeah.
So, you know.
If you need lunch, go there.
You go, Publix. If you need to sustain your household, you go to Aldi's.
Because you're going to pay 50% less at Aldi's. But, they just bought Winn-Dixie, though.
What?
They just bought Winn-Dixie. Now they're the second largest grocery store in Florida. I know. So they're changing, because we got a brand new one, and it ain't that bad in there.
Okay. So are all the Winn-Dixies turning into Aldi's? Do you know?
In the article, they said that most of them would, but they might keep some as Winn-Dixie. But yeah, man, I didn't know Zaxby's was only down here.
Yeah,
that's wild.
If I'm not mistaken, I think it's like only like the southern states. I know there's like the Belk department stores. Those are all Southern.
Bell's too, I think, right?
Maybe, I think. I'm not sure.
Because they have like the Florida section in there.
Yeah. Like it's like an outlet kind of situation.
That's wild. You've been to In-N-Out?
Yeah.
I've never been.
What? Okay, I like In-N-Out.
Because you were in Vegas, so I figured you would.
So I ate In-N-Out a lot. I ate Jack in the Box a lot. Like I did all that. So, and we would go out to LA every once in a while too. So
how's LA?
LA is fucking crazy. So I
is
would
it
go
really
out
as
there.
shit as it looks?
It's crazy because when we were going out there, we would link with Jeremy Maddox.
Yeah, because that's right. Mattis
exactly.
is out there.
So, I think he moved to another part of California
Oh,
now.
okay.
But we would go out there. We went out there one Halloween, and we shot a video. Yeah, we shot a video. And then the next day we were going to like hang out in like downtown, like West Hollywood and stuff like that. And it was Halloween night. So there's just costumes everywhere, like just people just acting crazy.
Were the streets flooded?
Flooded. There, you couldn't drive through like Santa Monica and all that stuff.
Fucking way.
One of the funny things about that is we were walking down the street and there was somebody dressed up as Scooby-Doo, and then there was somebody walking this way dressed up as like another cartoon dog, and they just started barking at each other, like bark, bark, bark.
Like they
were dog beefing. Yeah.
Oh my god, dude.
Yeah, it was funny, man. And I had a lot of fun times in California. I don't see myself being able to live there. There is an air of like arrogance to some people there, you know, and like a level of like a fakeness kind of a little bit.
I feel like it would be hard to trust anyone out there.
Yeah. I wouldn't go out there and just start trusting people.
Yeah.
But the times that we had were fun, man. We smoked a lot. We did a lot of partying, you know. I got some story that I can't even tell.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Man, but it was a good time, man. It was definitely a good time.
Because I've only been there once.
Yeah.
I've been to San Diego.
Okay.
And that was it.
Yeah.
I didn't really
How'd
get
you like that?
It was cool. I liked San Diego.
Is that more like a beach town kind of?
Yeah, and it's right by Mexico.
Nice.
Really close to Mexico.
Okay.
Mexican food was really good.
I bet they had good elote and stuff. Like,
oh, yeah. And like their little strip was nice. But I had gone for a convention.
Okay.
Only there for a few days. But never been to LA, man. And go ahead.
Okay, so I know you said you went to Nashville.
I love Nashville.
Yeah, so my family's actually from Kentucky.
Really?
So I love like Tennessee, Kentucky, all that stuff. I was actually out in Kentucky for family reunion.
Oh,
not
hell
too long
yeah.
ago. Yeah. So,
nice. How was that?
It was cool, man. Like I love Kentucky because it moves at its own pace.
Yeah.
You know, kind of same thing with Tennessee. Like they move at their own pace. The mountains are beautiful. Just they have actual seasons. You know, we don't have any seasons.
We have
one
season that fluctuates.
For real. We have hot, rainy, hurricane.
Yep. And a random week of coldness.
Yeah, exactly.
That you don't know when it's coming.
You never know. Oh, that's funny. But yeah, man, I really liked Tennessee, Kentucky. I've always said like whenever I get a lot of money, I'm able to have like multiple houses. I would definitely get a spot up there to kind of hide away.
Yeah.
And be with the land, you know.
Very much possibility.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think you'll achieve that.
Thank you.
Realize
I appreciate
that. Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
I really
sure.
do because, you know, you're moving up, you're doing things, and you know, just have a growth mindset. So I mean, there's nothing stopping you.
Thank you. Yeah,
I guess we only have our own limitations placed on us.
That's a fact. That is a fact, you know. And I think it's all about how you look at those limitations. Because some people look at them as a wall.
Self-imposed,
yeah,
I guess,
exactly.
limitations.
Yeah, and some people look at them as a wall, and then some people look at them as a hurdle, you know. It's all about if you're willing to fall down, you know.
And get back up.
Yeah,
man. I know, time flies.
Yeah, it does, man.
It does, because it's already over an hour.
Dang, like, man, this is dope, man. Like, and if you ever have any opportunity, I would love to come back.
Oh, yeah, you read my mind. So that's actually what I've been telling everyone. You know, depending on what happens with this, we'll just see where it goes. I'm just going to keep doing it, and then everyone has an open invitation back.
Nice. That's awesome. That's awesome.
I'll tell you, I would definitely want to add another camera. Mm-hmm. I'm getting a new table because this table fucking sucks. There's no leg room. My only thing about it,
I wish I could put my legs through it.
Well, it's because it's meant to be a desk.
Yeah, sure.
And it folds up.
Okay.
So I'm ditching this, getting a new table that's higher too, and that way we're not slumped over it.
I feel it.
So, but in due time, you know.
Yeah. No, you got to work your way up, you know.
I mean, getting all of this was an investment.
Probably,
this camera right here.
Facts.
Was, you know, I bought it used. It was decent price, but it overheats. That's the problem. That's why it's turning off.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so I need to get something different.
But the thing about it, bro, is that you got it, bro. Like, you went out, paid the money for it. You know, that's the main thing, because I know I've talked with my friends all the time, we need to start a podcast, we this and that. And, you know, it's all about taking those steps, man, and you're taking them, bro. Like,
starting to, it's weird, because I feel like what's interesting is there's a lot of them. There is a lot of them. So I was reading some statistics, or listening to some statistics, that someone was reading off. And apparently, people don't even make it past 20 episodes. Like almost 95% don't make it past 20 episodes.
Dang.
So if you can just get past 20,
you're good.
And just keep doing it, you're already in another. And I'm like, in my head, I guess it's easy to say, and we'll find out if I make it past 20.
You will. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, how could you start and stop? And I guess life gets in the way, whatever. But maybe it didn't matter as much then as you thought it did, if that's the case. And I'm like, I couldn't imagine getting all this equipment and then just quitting.
Yeah, I'm done.
It was just a matter of jumping in that I was waiting on, and I needed the space because I was going to do this in my apartment that we were living in.
No space for it.
No, it would have been weird, and I guess someone would have been like, "Fuck the space, just launch it anyway."
Figure it out.
And you're probably right. I probably could have started this months and months ago, but I wanted to have a bigger space for it.
Yeah, for sure. And things happen in the time frame that they happen.
Yeah,
for sure. Do you like sports?
To be honest with you, I do like sports. I don't watch them though. I mean, I'll watch an NFL game every now and then. Yeah. Don't follow it strong enough to confidently talk about it.
Okay, for sure.
But why do you ask?
Because I like sports. Well, I like basketball. So,
fair enough.
I don't know, the Orlando Magic. They actually preseason's today, like the first game back from everything.
Are you going?
Today. No, hell no. It's in New Orleans. So.
Oh shit. Okay.
I would have to.
Yeah, you have to leave now.
Yeah. I would have to left like 3 hours ago.
I guess you're not going to the game.
Yeah. But no, I was just asking, man. Just interested in hearing like if you like sports or anything like that.
I do. I mean, here's what I like about it. I like what it takes to be an athlete.
Yeah.
I have great respect because I like to draw parallels from the commitment that athletes make to be the best.
Facts.
And I feel like that work ethic and what they do, if you just apply that to anything you would want to do, you could be the top of your game.
You can do it.
In anything you want.
Facts. I agree, man. And I also just like the planning and the strategy that goes along with it.
A lot of strategy.
You don't just waltz onto the court or onto the field and just think you're going to win. You have to analyze a lot of stuff, And I think it's a big analogy for how to reach your goals, and just you have to. Have you ever read The Art of War?
The Art of War by Sun Tzu,
whatever.
I've read quotes from the book.
Yeah.
I've never read it from front to cover.
They have a book called The Art of War for business managers, where you can apply it. The teachings in the book to business strategy and stuff, and it was basically strategy plus tactics equals success or I forgot what it was exactly. I don't want to misquote it.
Yeah.
But you have to plan and then you have to do.
Yeah.
And that's sports. That's what we're doing. That's
right.
Everything. So
I completely agree with you, because you could technically dive in with no strategy,
Yeah.
but you're going to suffer.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to, scramble, and then you're going to lose. You're not going to get as far as quickly without the strategy.
Yeah, you're just going to be rotating your tires.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You're going to be in one place. Because even with this, I had a little strategy before I launched it, with how I was going to market it.
Exactly. To do like shorts and stuff like that. You understand like a little bit about just how YouTube works in general. Like, so, man, you got it, bro.
I appreciate it. Sure. I'm glad. It's weird because from it, on the outside looking in, I don't know what people are thinking. Like if it looks like a good operation, if it doesn't.
Shoot, it looks better than a lot of the other stuff I've seen. So.
And that's what I just wanted to start strong.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's the bottom line with that. There's a book you should read. You ever heard of the author Stephen Pressfield?
No.
Okay. He has 2 books. They're very short. You can read them in a day.
Okay.
But he has one called The War of Art.
The War of Art.
Yes, I know. It's a little play on the Art of War, but The War of Art. Read that one first. And then his second one is called Turning Pro.
Turning Pro?
Yeah.
So that sounds like, to me, have you ever read Mastery by Robert Greene?
No, but I have seen plenty of people mention that book, and it's on my list. Is that good?
Yeah.
What's it called again?
Mastery.
Or, who's the author
Robert
again?
Greene.
Robert
He's
Greene.
the one who did the 48 Laws of Power and all
Okay.
that stuff. Yeah. But Mastery is...
Mastery.
It's basically like the process from going from like apprenticeship to beginning to master your own craft, and then fully understanding your craft, and then mastering other crafts to solve problems. If you have 3 different skill sets that you fully mastered, you can probably solve a problem that hasn't
been solved yet.
Exactly.
Right.
So, it's a really good book, and I feel like that's one of the things that unlocked a different level of like wanting to compete within what I do, and wanting to do the best I can.
Yeah, because I think it's to be able to compete in your respected field, you have to constantly be sharpening that knife.
Facts.
Because if not, especially in today's world where it's hyper competitive, but at the same time, the standard is dropping.
Yeah.
At the same time, and that's partially another influence I had with starting this, is because we live in the glued to our phone age.
Yeah.
And I started to notice in myself that I was getting worse at talking to people. And it was ever since 2020.
Yeah.
And I viewed this as an opportunity to reconnect.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we don't do a whole lot of connecting anymore. And people are just addicted to what they're addicted to, and they're not doing anything good.
Connecting got dangerous for a minute, so like man, I can definitely see how that happened, but I don't know. I was talking. I don't even want to say that. Yeah, I don't know, because that could be misconstrued. But
don't say anything you don't want.
Yeah. So basically, COVID was terrible.
Yeah.
There were some things that I liked from how the whole thing went. As far as like, I was telling somebody the other day, I was like, I miss when you had to be 6 feet away from somebody in a grocery store. Like that's the main thing that I miss from COVID. No personal space invaded. You don't have to, you can do like the twister thing and really be there. So that's my thoughts on COVID.
I feel you. Unwarranted personal breaching. I feel you on that. It was a sketchy time, bro. That changed.
It was terrible, man.
I don't know how you got affected, but what I was doing for work, which I still do now, which is also in jeopardy for other reasons, but at the time, because I am very heavily involved with the tourist industry.
Okay.
Well, it shut down.
Yeah.
Like literally the faucet of money
just
turned off.
Stopped.
Yeah. In a matter of 1 week.
Yeah.
And so I had to go. I worked at Publix, bro, briefly. And during the peak of this shit, and then I quit. I just couldn't handle it. Retail sucks.
Yeah, it does.
But anyway, obviously rebounded, but I don't know what you were doing at the time, but it completely fucked my job up.
Listen, man, I was still out in Vegas when it hit.
Oh,
so
shit.
I saw the strip empty, bro.
Which is like
Lights
unheard
off.
of. Like
Lights off. It was the
nothing.
creepiest thing I've ever seen in my life.
It's like a dystopian movie.
Yeah, bro. I was like, did the world end? And so I was doing customer service at the time,
Mm-hmm.
so I could have still did my job, but just seeing that and then just knowing I have family out here,
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't feel right being out there.
So was that what
just-
prompted you to move back?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Interesting.
But moving back was a blessing because I feel like I wouldn't have been as far as I am now within the stuff that I do if I didn't move back.
Everything works out as it should.
Yeah, the way it was supposed to.
It's funny because we all have our why for why we do things, but we never know how.
Yeah.
We never know the how.
Yeah.
We just do.
Yep.
And how it happens is how it happens.
That's how it's written.
Yeah. Well, I could keep going forever
Yeah,
too,
me
my
too,
friend.
me too.
But listen, this is just the beginning.
For sure.
So
I'm gonna be back.
yeah, I'll have you back. You're welcome anytime.
Awesome. Thank you, man.
And I really appreciate you coming out to me to do this. Hopefully in the future, I mean, you'll probably be back before this happens, but hopefully like maybe a couple years from now, it's its own location,
All right, for sure.
you know?
For sure. I mean, hey, just got to put the work in.
Yeah, man.
It's gonna happen, man.
That's all we do.
Yes, sir.
You're an inspiration to me. So where can people find you? Let them know.
So if you look up Space Coast Q on any platform, I'll be there. My Instagram, space.coast.q. YouTube, Space Coast Q. Facebook, Space Coast Q. Space Coast Q, Space Coast Q.
Space Coast Q.
You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah.
Yes, sir.
And everything, your complete music library, I was trying to say discography,
It's on
is on Spotify.
Spotify, Apple Music.
Apple Music.
Space Coast Q.
Space Coast Q.
Space, a space, and then coast, a space, and then the letter Q.
Got it.
Yes, sir.
Hell yeah, man. Well, I'll be sure to include all that too in the description.
Appreciate it, man. Yes, sir.
Well, bro, it's been a pleasure.
Pleasure, man.
Yeah, man. I'll see you next time.
Yes, sir.